this is Patrick Tycoon Jones. We have another episode for you. This is a near and dear episode for me. And the reason behind this is because what we're talking about today is your vibration. If your vibration is not at a high frequency, you must get it there. And I'm going to explain to you today how to get it there. Hello, this is Patrick Tycoon Jones with today's episode of What's Your Vibration? Okay, what we're going to be talking about today is, the difference between a low vibration, a high vibration, and how do you get yourself out of a rut if you're there, and then how do you maintain if you're at a high vibration as well, right? So I'm looking forward to this particular episode, and we're going to get started right now. We're going in. Number one, your daily frequency. What is your daily frequency? Are you sad? Are you mad? Are you negative or are you positive? So the thing about that is if you're waking up on a consistent basis and you're finding something wrong, right? It's sunny outside, there's blue skies, and for everyone else, nothing's really wrong. Everything's a great day, but for some odd reason, the day for you is not necessarily great. So what you really need to do is you need to sit down and kind of think about why you're in a rut. You know what? It could be just a bad day. You woke up on the wrong side of the bed. It could be anything like that. However, if you notice that feeling being somewhat consistent, then at that point in time, you really need to assess your environment. You need to assess your inner self. Are you giving yourself enough time that you need to take care of self, right? Are you showing compassion for yourself? Are you being really hard on yourself, right? Because guess what? Through life, the number one thing is we learn from every experience that we go through. And just because, let's just say early on in your days, you had a negative experience, you maybe did a couple of things that were wrong, maybe you got in trouble with the law, that doesn't define you, tomorrow once you get out of that situation. Now you have a gift because you have the future and it's in front of you, and there's no need to wallow in sadness or being angry. Why are we walking around angry? I see so many individuals. I was walking around the Galleria Mall, and there's a lot of individuals, and this was specifically during the holiday season. And there were a lot of individuals, they were with their family and they're happy. They're going out, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. It's holiday season. Everyone is joyful. They're going out and they're buying gifts. And you have those particular subset of individuals. And then I noticed you have certain individuals that were A, looking for trouble, B, just walking around angry, and C, you could tell that there was something holding them back from being the positive being that they can actually be, right? So that's something that needs to be figured out as well, because if you are going through life and everything is gloom and doom, well, that's what you're gonna get in life, gloom and doom. So, that's something to look at as well. And then the negative people, if you say the sky is blue, then, what they'll do is they'll argue and say that it's aqua blue, right? So you have people that just for the sake of them, they don't know how to be positive. And folks, let me tell you right now, there's nothing worse when it comes to someone lowering your vibration and or your frequency than a negative person. Someone who is, you have a phenomenal idea, they'll talk you out of it. You're like, man, I went into this thinking that it was a great idea. I walked out and I'm not doing it now. Those are the people that you have to really think about, and then you have to be selective with what you go to them with and things that you talk to them about. But if you're on the positive side of life, that's great. Obviously, we all know not every day can be a holiday, if you will. It can't be all positive, but if 60% of your days are positive, if 70, 80, 90% of your days are positive, then kudos to you. Continue doing exactly what you're doing. And I'm sure things are already working out in your life. and things will continue to work out in your life. One thing I'll tell you is just be prepared for, those days that don't work out how you want them to work out. Just understand this, there's always a learning lesson in those days. And as long as you look at them like that, it can always be a positive as well. Next, what's your vibration reasoning? Folks, this goes back to, if you watched my earlier episodes, we're talking about what's your why, right? Why do you wake up on a daily basis? Why do you go out there and work hard? Why do you go out there and persevere? Why do you go out there and, continue to be the best version of you? What is your reasoning for your high vibration, and what is your reasoning for a low vibration? If you're walking around and you have that Charlie Brown cloud over your head, then, there's something that you need to assess within yourself. And, I'm a huge advocate of therapy as well. If you go through the path of therapy and you go in, especially if you were me, the first time I ever encountered therapy, it was one of those situations where it's like, man, this person doesn't know me. Like, how can they help me be a better version of me? They don't know what I've been through. They haven't walked a day in my shoes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the beautiful thing about what therapy does is it forces you to look at your feelings in a particular area that you may be stuck. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are stuck in a particular area, let's just say something happened to you when you're 11, you're now in your 30s, or you're now in your late 20s, you're now in your early 20s, there's going to be a piece of you that is held back within your life, and it's going to show, it's going to be present, but you may just be overlooking it. And so the therapy forces you to look at those things that's holding you back, that's weighing your soul down. And then at the end of that, once you're able to figure it out and look at it for who you are as of today, meaning the intelligent being that you are today versus the being that kind of trapped those feelings in a little bitty box and kind of threw it away and dismissed it, it's better to address it and deal with it than anything. And the reason behind that is because it allows you and your soul to be free. And there's nothing better, and you will be on your way to, having a high vibration when it comes to letting negative things go that has transpired in your life, or maybe, life-altering things, letting them go, or at least understanding the feelings and why you feel that way towards a particular thing, a particular situation, and then also understanding what your triggers are and having the ability to control those triggers. That's extremely important because it allows you to now control yourself and your reactions and your thoughts and your feelings. So, you always want to be a high vibrating individual. However, you can't vibrate as high as you can if you have things that are kind of pulling you back. You have people that are pulling you back. You have situations that are pulling you back, and you have chains and or shackles that are, pulling you back from progressing in life. So that'll also pull you back from being, that positive vibrating individual. Next, what we think about is what we get. Folks, we are the most powerful individuals on this universe. Why is that? Why is that? We have the ability to think, right? Take things from the metaphysical plane and produce it in the physical plane. What is more powerful than that, right? A thought. If you look outside your window, you'll most likely see, some of you will see buildings, some of you will see, terrain, some of you will see vehicles, things of that nature, things that human beings have created based on just a thought in their head. And they had the mental fortitude to think about it, put it down on paper, and then go out there and execute and produce what it is that they were thinking about. For example, the building that you all are living in right now, there had to be someone that had a architect mind of building to create the building that you're in, right? The TV that you're actually watching this on, and or the phone that you're watching this particular episode, guess what? It was a thought at first. It could be a thought from one individual or multiple individuals, right? However, it was a thought that they were able to bring from the metaphysical, create it and produce it in the physical plane. So think about that. What you think about on a consistent basis is what you get on a consistent basis. So for example, let's get out of the weeds and let's go high level now. High level. If you're thinking about negativity, then that's exactly what you're going to create in your life, is negativity. If you're thinking about positivity, if you're thinking about positive things happening, if you're thinking about the next version of you, right, and what that looks like, then that's exactly what you will get as long as you put the effort in, right? So what you think about is exactly what you will get in your life. Those of you who are negative, you are going to get negative in your life. Those of you who are taught to think of the worst case scenario, and you got to think that that's going to happen first, that's the worst way to think about things. I know for me, I think about things on a positive consistently. And guess what? The majority of things after I went through my phase, because we all have our phases, right, of growth and kind of maturation and things that we wouldn't do and we had to learn from, etc. But after I came into the knowledge of, disciplining myself and my thoughts, then positive things happen. So I cannot express that enough. I know I sound like a broken record, and there's a reason for me to sound like a broken record. You folks out there listening to me, my tycoons listening to me, you have to start thinking positive. Stop walking around thinking that the negative or the worst is gonna happen, because that stuff will happen, right? Stop calling for things, negative things to happen to you, and start calling for positive things to happen to you. Once you do that, once you change the frequency of your thought process and what you're telling yourself and what you're asking for, then that's when things start happening, okay? I cannot express that enough. Next, optimistic people versus pessimistic people. Have you all ever sat down with a person and you went out, let's just, for example, hey, you know what? I made $100 a day. You only made $100 a day? You didn't make $200 a day, right? Think about that. That's a person that's pessimistic versus the person that is optimistic. Hey, I made $100 today. Oh man, you know what? That's great. Good job. Now, have you thought about how you can double that and make $200? Let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about how you made 100 and let's try to perfect it and go make 200. Let's see if we can make 300, man. Challenge yourself. That's the difference between an optimistic person and a pessimistic person, right? You want to have in your circle individuals that are optimistic, that are rooting you forward, that are pushing you forward, that want to see you win, that want to see you succeed, right? They don't want you to be the same version of yourself, who you've been for the past 10 years. They want to see the new version of you. They want to see the growth in you, right? They believe in how far you can go. Those are the individuals that you want in your circle. And if you don't have those individuals in your circle, no need to necessarily cut them off. But what you need to do is you need to understand who they are, right? Pinpoint them, and then understand, is that the type of energy that I want to accept into my life on a consistent basis, right? There's nothing wrong with taking individuals and people in doses, but you have to start taking responsibility of your energy. And if you are pessimistic, you need to check yourself. However, if you're optimistic, that's a beautiful thing. Continue to be the flower of the universe and continue to spread nothing but positivity and love, right? Because that's what we need. We need more of that. Next, who are high vibrating people? So let's diagnose that on a larger scale. For one, people who are energized. Now, this is about people who are energized about life. They wake up every day and they want to go out there and they want to conquer in a positive way. They want to achieve in a positive way, right? They want to go out there and do things and make a positive mark on people and on the universe, right? So energized folks, those are folks who are high vibrating, typically. In addition to that, people who like to inspire, they're inspiring, right? You hear them talk, you hear their story, you hear what it is that they're trying to do, you hear that they're building a business, you hear that they're trying to take themselves here to there, right? So individuals who are beaming inspiration, those are typically high vibrating individuals. Another thing, folks that they want to strengthen your faith, right? They want to strengthen your belief in yourself. Those folks are typically high vibrating individuals. People that want you to go out there and blaze the trail that they know you can blaze. And those people will strengthen you. Those people will give you advice to push you forward, right? Not backwards, or not keep you trapped in the same state that you're currently in. And then folks that instill a sense of confidence, lastly. The confidence in yourself, your abilities, who you are. You may wake up and you don't see the God-given talent that you have. You may not see that, you're trying to be an engineer, but you would be the best salesperson out there making $400, $500, $600, $700,000. The sky's the limit, right? Maybe because things in your past have pulled you back and you just can't see what your strengths are, right? What your gifts are. Those people who instill a sense of confidence in you, those are the individuals that you want to be around. Those are the individuals that you want to give your energy to and exchange energy with, because those are the individuals that will push you and propel you forward. And next thing you know, a year from the time that you decided to make one of the best decisions of your life, you look back and you say, wow, look how far I've come. I've come a mighty long way, right? Those are individuals and kind of traits and characteristics of high vibrating folks. Next, who are low vibrating folks? So if we talk about the high vibrating folks, it's important for me to highlight who the low vibrating folks are. So those are individuals who are walking around this earth that are blaming everyone else for, where they're at, or, their downfall. Individuals who will not take accountability for their actions and where they are in their life, right? Those are typically low vibrating folks. People who are angry and or jealous, right? People who are angry every day. I was driving my car, and those of you know my Tycoon mobile, which is a Porsche, and you had this person who was trying to cut me off. You know what? They felt like they won. I allowed it. I'm like, go ahead. You want to cut me off? I'm living life. I'm winning. So if you felt like cutting me off is going to bother me or it's going to make you feel better, well, you know what? Let me help you feel better for the day. And I'm going to continue my course of life, not letting anything impact me negatively. And I'm going to continue to win. And you'll go back to your life and you'll continue doing you, right? I don't know if your life is miserable, but if you felt like you had to do that to make yourself feel good, kudos to you, but I'm going to continue to win, right? And I'm going to continue to be an inspiration to folks. So, understand that as well. Envy. Envy is something, and Birdman said it best. Birdman, who is, one of the co-founders of Cash Money Records, there was an interview and he was talking about jealousy and envy. Jealousy is someone far away from you, right? You may pass by them on the street and they're like, who does that dude think he is in this nice car, right? Okay, that's jealousy. Okay. Keep it moving, right? They can't necessarily touch you unless you allow them to touch you or impact your life. However, envy is close to you, he said. Envy are the people who are around you, who you feel as though they love you, who, maybe some of your day ones or, significant others, whatever it may be, right? I'm just throwing things out there. But those are the individuals who have created envy, and that is the worst thing out. And that's something that you really need to keep a sharp eye and a sharp ear for, because once you sense envy, now you really need to remove them from your circle, okay? And that is paramount. So those are individuals who are low vibrating. I have a couple of more. People who carry guilt, bitterness, pessimistic people. We've already talked about that, right? And also self-doubt, right? Those individuals who are pessimistic, they always see things negatively, they have self-doubt, right? Those are the individuals who are never going to kickstart life in a positive manner and do the things that they need to do to be a positive being, on this earth while they're here. Now, you can always turn things around, but those are the low vibrating individuals that you want to steer clear of. Just keep that in mind. Next, things that you can do to increase and or help your vibration, okay, and push it to the next level. So a couple of things. Exercise. Exercising is key. It's something that I tend to do 5 to 6 times out of the week. It makes me feel better. It helps me center myself. and it's something that I would never ever veer away from. Reading helps keep my brain sharp. I think that's extremely important. You know, something that you should do is you should have a book that you try to read one a month. If you can't do that, pick up an audio book while you're in your car, while you're, lifting weights, while you're exercising. Put that audio book in and go from there. One audio book that I find to be extremely helpful, it's by Napoleon Hill. It's called Outwitting the Devil. You can YouTube that. You don't have to pay for it. But if you put that in your ear, I feel as though that's a really good audio book, and it gives a lot of good game to all my tycoons. There's no doubt about that. Laughing, folks, laughing is a beautiful thing. If I'm feeling down, or if I'm like, today's just kind of, I don't know if I'm feeling today, then guess what I do? I'll turn on Netflix, I'll turn on some Dave Chappelle, or some Chris Rock, or whoever it is, right? And I'll start cracking up, right? And that's something to me that is extremely helpful. And, it's something to lift your spirits and boost your spirits. Eating healthy. Eating healthy is extremely important. Substitute a beer for a smoothie. Substitute a soda for a water. Substitute fast food for a salad. Substitute chips with vegetables, with vegetable dip, right? Choose positive things in life that are going to impact you in a positive manner. Think about that. Limiting alcohol. Again, that's something that if you can have less alcohol on a daily basis or a weekly basis or on a monthly basis, that's going to be a positive thing. You're only helping your body. And drug intake. First and foremost, you shouldn't be doing drugs in general, okay? I know, obviously, some of you have things that you go to the doctor. We're not talking about that. But I'm talking about drugs, right? None of us should be doing that. Drugs tend to lower your vibration on a significant scale, and then it tends to keep you in a rut. So, when it comes to that, I always say no, you should as well. But you all are adults, and I know you're going to go about your life the way that you go about it. It's just not something that I stand for, okay? So, to my tycoons, I greatly appreciate you today. As I always say, lock in with me because I'm locked in with you. And please, like, subscribe, share, and turn on that notification button as well. I greatly appreciate you helping me with the algorithm of Patrick Tycoon Jones, the channel. And until we meet again, take care. Bye now.